What happens when a freshman representative goes head-to-head with the Vice President of the United States and wins without raising her voice? What you're about to witness isn't just a confrontation. It's a masterclass in leadership, composure, and the kind of political courage that can change a career and a party forever. The auditorium buzzed with anticipation, a low hum of excitement and tension mingling in the air as Kamala Harris walked in. Her face a mix of focus and irritation after months of falling approval ratings, relentless scrutiny, and whispers questioning her leadership. Every step felt weighted, every glance measured. Across the stage, Jasmine Crockett waited, calm and composed, carrying no baggage of expectation, just clarity of purpose. Having meticulously prepared for this moment, knowing professionalism and strategy would speak louder than theatrics. The audience, a sea of political figures, activists, and journalists, sensed the tension immediately, cameras poised and phones ready to capture even the smallest misstep, transforming a conference meant to showcase unity into a crucible for a brewing clash of personalities and philosophies. Harris approached the podium, scanning the room as if to assert dominance, while Crockett met her gaze with steady eyes, refusing to flinch. The lights cast a clinical glow over the stage, highlighting every expression and micro-movement, as journalists readied themselves to immortalize each moment. Behind the podium, Harris fidgeted, knuckles whitening as she gripped the edge, a rare crack in her confident posture, while Crockett stood a few feet away, hands loosely clasped, radiating calm control. The stage amplified the tension. Microphones captured every breath, sigh, and shuffle, making the air feel thick with anticipation. Audience members leaned forward or exchanged worried glances, realizing the event, advertised as a discussion on leadership, had become a study in temperament, poise, and power. Every heartbeat, glance, pause, and inflection was magnified, and as Harris opened her mouth to speak, the room vibrated with the electricity of expectation. The confrontation was no longer just about policy, but about character, composure, and the silent assertion of who truly belonged on the national stage. Harris's voice cut through the heavy air, sharp and aggressive, each word dripping with indignation as she demanded, "You think you can speak for this party? You think you can lecture me about leadership?" Her tone, urgent and unstable, seemed a hurricane contained within a human frame. Crockett, however, remained a study in restraint, letting the words hang in the charged silence and allowing the audience to feel the weight of Harris's outburst. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm, deliberate, and precise. "I came here today to have a respectful discussion about our party's future, but if yelling is how you lead, that reflects more on your leadership than it does on mine." Harris's face flushed crimson, her fragmented attempts to retort a desperate scramble. You can't, this is not how I," while the audience recoiled, some shielding themselves from the spectacle of chaos. Crockett, standing as a visual anchor, maintained straight posture, steady gaze, and unshaken composure, acknowledging Harris politely while continuing, "Yes, you are the vice president, and that's exactly why this behavior is concerning. The American people deserve better." Cameras captured the contrast. One woman unraveling under pressure, the other exuding controlled authority. As Harris's desperation peaked, she shouted, "You think you're so smart? You think you can embarrass me in front of everyone?" Crockett returned to the microphone with the same calm precision. "Madam Vice President, I'm not embarrassing you. You're embarrassing yourself. And, more importantly, you're embarrassing our party and our country." Every eye was fixed on her, every phrase landing with measured impact. She allowed the silence to settle, then concluded, "I will return to my seat now, and I hope you take some time to consider how you want to represent the office you hold." Harris cried one last time, "You've never carried the weight of a nation on your shoulders." Crockett paused before delivering the line that would echo far beyond the auditorium. "Madam Vice President, real leadership isn't about the weight you carry. It's about how you carry that weight. Right now, You're showing everyone that you can't handle pressure without lashing out at the people you're supposed to work with." The audience responded with stunned acknowledgement. Harris's face drained of color, understanding she had been outclassed, while Crockett's calm returned to her seat marked not just the end of the exchange, but a defining demonstration of leadership under pressure. The cameras kept rolling, but the story had already been told. One leader unraveled, and one leader mastered the moment. Within minutes of the confrontation, the auditorium's charged silence erupted into a frenzy of digital activity. Phone cameras clicked, laptops tapped, and social media notifications exploded as videos of Crockett's composed responses to Harris's meltdown were uploaded, clipped, and shared at lightning speed. Side-by-side comparisons went viral instantly. Harris's flushed face and escalating voice contrasted sharply with Crockett's calm, confident demeanor. Memes flooded the platforms. Toddlers throwing tantrums beside Harris, captions dubbing Crockett the adult in the room, while audio clips isolated Harris's shrill tones and elevated Crockett's measured voice to the soundtrack of professionalism. Views skyrocketed, with a single comparative video amassing over 2 million views within 3 hours. By 6 hours, major news outlets led their coverage with headlines like "Vice President Melts Down at Democratic Conference" and "Freshman Representative Shows True Leadership." Political analysts dissected every frame. Social media debates ignited, and Crockett's campaign donations surged 400% in 48 hours as her follower count swelled with each retweet and share. Harris, meanwhile, faced mounting criticism, her credibility increasingly fragile, now inseparably tied to images of panic and loss of control. The confrontation transcended politics. It became a cultural event and an instant case study in leadership, communication, and public perception, incorporated into university courses and analyzed by experts nationwide. By the next morning, the political world had awakened to a new reality. Crockett's prominence surged, with donors, party officials, and national media seeking her input, while Harris's already tenuous standing dropped sharply, her approval ratings and internal support faltering. Social media amplified generational divides within the party, with younger Democrats rallying behind Crockett's calm authority and senior members cautiously defending Harris, but unable to counter the viral evidence. Each public appearance now reminded observers of Harris's meltdown, while Crockett's poised performance set a new benchmark for respect under pressure, measured decision-making, and prioritizing public service over personal ego. Within weeks, the political landscape had shifted. Crockett's influence grew, Harris's stature wavered, and a single confrontation had redefined perceptions of leadership, signaling both an immediate and lasting realignment within the party. In the months following the confrontation, the careers of Crockett and Harris diverged sharply. Crockett's rise was meteoric. Invitations to speak at national party events, think tanks, and policy forums poured in, and party leaders who had barely noticed her before now sought her insights on legislation, strategy, and messaging. Her social media following surged, grassroots supporters mobilized around her appearances, and political analysts speculated openly about her potential future in higher office, even hinting at a presidential run. Harris, by contrast, struggled to regain footing. Each public appearance reminded voters and media of her meltdown. Approval ratings slipped, and donors hesitated to support her. Senior Democrats quietly questioned whether her credibility and effectiveness had been permanently damaged, while attempts at damage control, apologies, statements, reframing, were consistently overshadowed by the viral memory of the confrontation. Crockett's composed responses became templates for political communication classes and professional workshops, with universities incorporating the footage to demonstrate crisis management, composure, and rhetoric, while Harris's meltdown became a cautionary case study in poor temperament under pressure. The generational divide within the party solidified, with younger members rallying behind Crockett's calm, policy-focused approach, while older Democrats struggled to defend Harris amid endlessly replayed viral clips. The confrontation reshaped the party's conversation about leadership, public image, and handling pressure. Crockett emerged as a symbol of the composed, respectful, resilient leadership voters now demanded, while Harris's trajectory, once secure, was overshadowed by doubts about judgment, self-control, and credibility. The incident immediately became a media spectacle, with videos circulating across news networks, social media, and blogs, each clip dissected for inflection, facial expression, and tone. Headlines praised Crockett's poise, favorability ratings climbed, and public opinion shared admiration for her composure, while Harris faced swift decline. Analysts highlighted the encounter as evidence that temperament and communication style often define public perception more than office titles. The media frenzy simultaneously elevated Crockett's national profile and undermined Harris's credibility, demonstrating the instantaneous power of real-time media, social platforms, and viral content to shape political narratives. The fallout from the confrontation quickly reverberated through the inner workings of the Democratic Party, sharply delineating the trajectories of Harris and Crockett. Senior leaders scrambled to balance public perception with loyalty. Older, established figures defended Harris, citing her experience, while younger members rallied behind Crockett, admiring her calm, composed, policy-focused leadership. Party strategists recognized the stakes. Harris's outburst threatened not only her credibility, but also the party's image ahead of upcoming elections, prompting internal debates over whether she should apologize or temporarily step back from high-profile engagements. Meanwhile, Crockett's rapid rise brought pressure to assume larger roles in legislative efforts and party initiatives. Previously overlooked by senior figures, she was now sought after for policy discussions and national events, exposing a generational divide simmering quietly for years. At formal gatherings, whispers and praise alike reflected this shift. Harris's allies expressed frustration, while Crockett's supporters lauded her poise, sparking debates about leadership, accountability, and voter priorities. The confrontation reshaped the party's internal hierarchy, with Crockett earning allies across age groups and factions, while Harris found herself increasingly isolated from key decision-makers. Nationally, the incident became a defining moment in American politics. Harris's approval ratings declined, her temperament questioned, and pundits debated her long-term viability, while Crockett's composed responses captured attention, spurring invitations to major events, policy committees, and strategic discussions, alongside surging social media support and campaign donations. The broader implications extended beyond individual careers, igniting a conversation about leadership, emotional intelligence, and political decorum, with universities and experts using the event as a case study in crisis management, public perception, and nonverbal communication. Crockett's dignified conduct resonated with voters weary of political drama, setting a benchmark for authenticity, substance, and resilience, whereas Harris's struggle underscored the rapid erosion of credibility when emotion overtakes judgment. Months later, Crockett's popularity rivaled that of seasoned party leaders, with betting markets and strategists considering her a potential candidate for higher office, while Harris's future remained uncertain. The Democratic Leadership Conference confrontation had become more than a single event. It crystallized a narrative contrasting chaos with poise, ego with principle, and short-term power with long-term respect, establishing Crockett as a model of leadership and Harris as a cautionary tale in high-stakes political conduct.